Welcome to Richplanet TV. I'm Richard D. Hall. This is the last show in the current series. Hopefully I'll be making more shows in the latter part of 2018. Today I'm putting out the details of the next Richplanet UK tour starting in April next year, 2018, which you can find out about from this link. Now, as you may know, I've produced over 14 hours of documentaries about Madeleine McCann, and I always look for new information and evidence. I recently received a very interesting email from a particularly hawk-eyed viewer. Let me explain. The Madeleine case broke in May 2007. Her parents say that the 3-year-old was abducted. Many people do not believe this and also believe that Madeleine died and that the death was concealed. If the death was covered up, it presumably was covered up for a reason. These questions have been the source of much debate and speculation. Assuming she died, how did she die and why was it covered up? Now, in 2010, 3 years after the events, a video was released by Madeleine's godfather, John Corner. Note, the video was not released by the McCanns themselves. This video contained 3 images of Madeleine, which had not been released previously. One of the images was particularly disturbing for many people. The image shows Madeleine wearing a gold pearl necklace, a hair bead, eyeshadow, lipstick and eyeliner. Kate McCann has stated that the photo was the result of Madeleine playing with her mummy's makeup. Many people think this is a lie and that Madeleine could not have applied this makeup herself. The image looks like it may have been taken while on holiday because it features a Mediterranean-style cream-coloured stucco textured wall found commonly on the Algarve. The length of Madeleine's hair in this image appears to be identical to the length of her hair when she went missing. Now, the McCann's holiday photos in general are a very controversial subject, and you'd need to watch my 3rd Madeleine film entitled When Madeleine Died? To learn more. But in summary, there is a considerable school of thought that believes a photograph which the McCanns say was the last photograph ever taken of Madeleine, which they say was taken on the afternoon of the disappearance, was in fact taken 4 days before she was reported missing, indicating that she may have died well before she was actually reported missing. So, if the makeup photograph was taken during the 2007 Praia de Luz holiday, is it possible that it was taken after the official last photograph, perhaps just before Madeleine died or went missing? If this is the case, then if the location where the photograph was taken could be identified, it might provide clues about what really happened to Madeleine. Was the makeup photo the last photograph taken of Madeleine seen alive, and can it provide a clue about how and where Madeleine may have died? So onto the new discovery. If we look carefully, just to the side of Madeleine's left temple, we see a dark-coloured object which appears to be mounted on the wall. There has been much discussion about what this could be. The Richplanet viewer wrote, "When you showed the picture of Madeleine with blue makeup surrounding her eyes, you mentioned the lamp holder. I immediately thought this is a thermometer. I think I found the kind of thermometer. Especially the minus symbol on the right side near the -20 is quite striking." Here is a comparison of the type of thermometer the viewer is referring to and the object on the wall behind Madeleine. I think you'll agree it is a probable match and is quite a distinctive piece of evidence. So I am appealing today if anyone has knowledge about where these types of thermometer may have been installed. Remember, this is in 2007 and the likely location is in the Algarve, possibly in or near Praia de Luz. If you can recall seeing this type of thermometer on that coloured textured background or have photographs, please get in touch. It could lead to a major breakthrough. Do you recall a few weeks ago the supposed controversy over the plastic politician Priti Patel? and her unauthorized discussions with Israeli officials while on holiday in August. Theresa May is supposed to have found out about these unauthorized meetings after watching it reported on the BBC on the 3rd of November. Following this, May then summoned Plastic Patel to number 10 Downing Street, and after having words, the plastic politician was forced to resign. If you believe that crock of shit, you really will believe anything. Just to be clear, I'm not saying Patel did not speak to Israeli officials. I am saying I don't believe her meetings were not pre-planned by authorities, possibly intelligence agencies, on both sides. A British MP talking to senior Israeli officials without any permission from the British government is like Wayne Rooney turning up for a training session with Sunderland without any permission from his current club Everton. And the Sunderland manager doesn't think it odd that Rooney is training with his players without his permission. It is one of the most blatant psyops I have seen in recent months. Now, a psyop could be described as a piece of PR that has been invented or orchestrated for some hidden political agenda. But why would they do this, Richard? Let me explain. There is a school of thought that the British government and many senior British politicians are strongly influenced by the Israeli agenda, and that Britain can therefore be described as a political poodle of Israel and of the United States for that matter. What better way to attempt to dispel such annoying facts than by orchestrating a public display of disapproval against one of those strongly influenced British politicians for collaborating with the Israelis behind the British government's back? If you believe the story on face value, you are very gullible. Plastic Patel is a career politician and has worked in the highly honourable profession of PR. Yes, PR, the profession where the truth doesn't matter and spin and often outright lies are the name of the game. In this role, Patel worked to protect the reputation of a tobacco company, who were involved in some very dodgy business practices. Plastic Patel was a prominent Vote Leave campaigner during Brexit. But I wonder, was leave really her opinion? Or was she just helping out with the PR? And I wonder whether she was paid to act out this most recent, ridiculous, blatant psyop. So keep your eyes peeled for the next piece of preposterous PR from the plastic politician, Priti Patel. Now, speaking of Brexit, I have read that people who have made certain investments have had poor returns on their money, and that is being blamed on Brexit. Also, less people have been able to move home due to a depressed housing situation, and this is being blamed on Brexit. The price of food is going up. This is being blamed on Brexit. The other day my van broke down. This was due to substandard vehicle servicing. Blamed on Brexit. I had 3 pints of beer the other night and woke up with a hangover. This was because I did not eat enough food due to fear of price increases, entirely brought on by Brexit. This morning I stood in a dog turd. This was obviously caused by Brexit, because the price of the little polythene dog shit bags has gone up, causing more dog shit on the streets. The other day I lifted up my left buttock to let out what I thought was going to be just a very stiff fart. But I'd forgotten all about my irritable bowel syndrome, and what emerged was much more than just a very stiff fart. This was undoubtedly caused by Brexit. I lost my phone. That was due to Brexit. I fell off a ladder. Brexit! In fact, anything at all now can officially be blamed on Brexit. Let's think about this objectively. A country is just a smaller version of the world. There is no reason in theory why any country could not become autonomous from the rest of the world. Autonomy over its resources, autonomy over its currency, autonomy over its workforce, autonomy over its laws, and still function normally like the rest of the world does. Imagine, for example, that suddenly the rest of the world other than Britain didn't exist. The rest of the world just vanishes overnight. What would happen? I'm sure we would survive. And who's to say that eventually we'd not be better off than we were before? But Brexit isn't even about autonomy. We currently trade with dozens of nations outside of the EU. And after Brexit, we will continue to trade with all of the nations within the EU. The dogma that we are somehow worse off because of Brexit is down to your own psychological attitude. Let me draw an analogy. If you're going to move house to get away from a totally annoying neighbour, it might cost you money in the short term, but you're not moving house to try and make a short-term financial gain. You're moving house out of principle, which is above your financial interest. If you're the sort of person that only does things for money, then you're one sad individual. And in any event, when you do move house, how do you know whether you're going to be worse or better off in the long run? The future depends on actions, not on opinion. All that said, one thing I don't like about Brexit is it masks some of the real issues we face. After Brexit, we still have a system in the UK which is controlled and manipulated by hidden institutions which do not serve the people of the country. If we do become more autonomous due to Brexit, we cannot achieve much unless we remove the banks, get rid of every MP, get rid of the main political parties, remove all the government agencies, replace the media, and redesign the way our currency is issued. We need to start from scratch, and Brexit will not do that. Well, it's a start, Richard. Is it really? I'll keep campaigning for all of the above, whatever happens. And for God's sake, stop blaming everything on Brexit. It's just one more piece of PR from those who are trying to reverse the Brexit decision. It would not surprise me at all that at some time in the future, if some sort of disaster or collapse is orchestrated in an attempt to get everyone who voted for Brexit to regret their decision so it can ultimately be reversed. So just bear all this in mind when you're watching the shit on your lie box. Now, the Richplanet 2018 tour starts in Glasgow on the 19th of April, and I'll be visiting 11 further venues throughout the UK, finishing on the 5th of May in Belfast. So I hope to see you at one of the shows. Thanks to everyone for watching the 2017 series and for all your emails and knowledge that you have sent me. Enjoy the rest of the show.